be a glorious year, and I congratulate all of this August gathering. It will be a privilege for me to join you on 25th November in Delhi, and I accept your invitation. Mr. Jagsai Shah, the former president of CREDAI, and again, not only my very good friend, but also my colleague in the Ministry of Commerce and Industry as chairman of Quality Council of India. Somebody who's helping me take the concept of quality across the nation in every sector. And I'll respond to all that you have said, Baman, in a minute. A senior leader of the fraternity, Shri Irfan Bhai Razak, somebody who has really created iconic structures in Bengaluru and has now entered my home city of Mumbai also in a very big way. Wonderful to see you, Irfan Bhai, after a long time. We have Mr. Ram Reddy, Mr. Nagarajan, Mr. Manoj Gaud from Delhi, Mr. Shekhar Patel, all leading developers. But our host today in this wonderful gathering, Shri Gopal Bagle, the High Commissioner of India to Australia, deserves special mention for the sensitivity with which he looks at India's story across the world. He's had very, very important assignments all his life, including working with the Honorable Prime Minister in the PMO. But I have, over the last few years, seen him work soft-spoken, extremely sincere, but very, very smartly navigating the India story across the world. Thank you for your leadership, Gopal Bagleji, and thank you for a wonderful visit to Australia for me, for my team, and for all the 1,100 delegates who have visited Sydney and other parts. Thank you for all that you've done. We also have Mr. Janki Raman, who's the Consul General of India in Sydney. He's your real host today and will look after all of you and your families while you're here. It's wonderful to see so many past presidents sitting in the room. Wonderful to see the women's wing so active. Rupa Ben, thank you for coming up with this report. I'm told the youth also are extremely active in CREDAI. Give the big hand to the youth. वैसे तो स्टेज पे सब यूथ ही दिख रहे हैं, पर समय आ जाता है हमारा भी नंबर लग जाता है, and we don't realize कि हमारे बच्चे अब उस स्टेज पे आ गए हैं कि अब उन्हें स्टेज पे होना चाहिए और हम सब नीचे बैठे होने चाहिए. But I think the transition that CREDAI has seen, even during these 25 years, I've had the privilege of being involved with your organization for several years, and I've seen that from the earlier set of leaders to your set, and now with the women and youth being so active, truly feel very gratified and would like to congratulate the entire leadership, the team working at CREDAI, and all of you distinguished members for the good work that you have done. It was quite a surprise for me when Baman and Jagsai called me up and said that in such a large measure, we will have our Indian developers in Sydney at the same time that I was planning to coming to Australia. And I'm delighted that I could be amongst you. Baman and the rest of the team just gave me a little walk around to show me what the possibilities are and why this conference is being held in Sydney, what the learnings could be, including the fact that we possibly have a road going right up above some of the buildings in this complex, hotel rooms all around the place, massive MICE facilities. All of this are learnings that I'm sure we will all take back in some small measure, in Delhi at least, the Bharat Mandapam and Yashobhumi two very large exhibition spaces that are lagbhag 50% developed, but are expected to be completed in the next few years with full development, will have very similar facilities. Bharat Mandapam is already about 60-70,000 square meters of new facilities. The rest of the 30,000 we are now breaking down and making into equally grand exhibition halls. We are also planning a 5-star hotel at Bharat Mandapam. Now I have some plans before me which suggest that we could do a lot of 2, 3, 4-star rooms also, so that the whole Bharat Mandapam complex in the heart of the city, barely 2 or 3 kilometers away from Connaught Place, can actually become a vibrant center, so that people from across the world come to Delhi and have their conferences in Delhi in the future. I think many of you wouldn't have visited Yashobhumi at all. Where is your program on 25th of November?
Sir, it is at Aerospace.
Why not Bharat Mandapam or Yashobhumi?
It's not available. It's not available. Not available.
So that speaks volumes of the success story. Yashobhumi has even grander facilities. The first stage is complete, where we had a huge conference center, about another 70-80,000 square meters of very modern infrastructure for exhibitions is ready. We'll now go in for the phase 2, which will have shopping complexes, hotels, commercial offices, and an expansion of exhibition facilities. And the good part is, within a year, I don't know if you recall, 26 July last year is when Bharat Mandapam was inaugurated. Probably in September, early September is when Yashobhumi was inaugurated. And in less than a year, the situation is that it's not available for your own conference. It's completely sold out. We are having large conferences on textiles, on automobiles, semiconductor industry, electronics, electricals. You will be amazed. India is the food producer of the world, the largest food producer. But the largest food exhibition used to be held in Dubai, which only produces dates. Dates as in khajur. और कोई गलत फहमी मत ले लेना. खजूर बनाने वाला देश और दुनिया का सबसे बड़ा फूड शो दुबई में होता है. अब वो भारत में होगा. अब नहीं होगा. और मैं मानता हूं कि आगे आने वाले दिनों में आप सबका सहयोग रहा, आप सबका आशीर्वाद रहा, आप सबका संकल्प भी रहा और मेहनत भी इसी प्रकार से रही, तो मुझे विश्वास है कि यही फैसिलिटी भारत में 10-12 बड़े शहरों में, मुंबई हो, बेंगलुरु हो, हैदराबाद हो, कोलकाता हो, गुवाहाटी हो, हम देश भर में इस प्रकार की अच्छी सुविधाएं, विश्वव्यापी सुविधाएं, इंटरनेशनल क्लास स्टेट ऑफ द आर्ट फैसिलिटीज बना सकेंगे. बेंगलुरु में हमें पैलेस के अंदर हर बार हैंगर्स नहीं बनाने पड़ेंगे. चेन्नई में कुछ मात्रा में एक कॉम्प्लेक्स बनाया गया है आईटीपीओ और तमिलनाडु की सरकार द्वारा, पर बहुत छोटा है, उसको भी एक्सपैंड करने की आवश्यकता है. इस प्रकार से अगर माइस सेक्टर को देश में बड़ी बूस्ट मिलती है, वो अपने आप में एक बहुत बड़ा इकोनॉमिक ड्राइवर ऑफ ग्रोथ बन सकता है. और आपके क्षेत्र को भी, क्योंकि आप में से कई लोग हॉस्पिटैलिटी में भी हैं, ये सब सेंटर्स बनेंगे तो वो भी आप ही का काम होगा. पर जब हम इतने सारे आंकड़े देखते हैं, और ममन जी ने तो इतने सारे आंकड़े एक साथ सुनाए कि मैं भी अपनी चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंसी भूल गया और थोड़ा अर्थशास्त्री बनने की कोशिश कर रहा था. But I'm glad that Nilkant was there yesterday And with the numbers that he has presented before you, I'd like to add my own two-bit so that we are all on the same page. Clearly, your sector is doing wonderful work and contributing immensely, whether it is to job creation, whether it is to building the needs of the nation, homes, offices, hotels, infrastructure, whether it is to bring sustainability to your sector or contributing to taxes and the national GDP. It's a remarkable journey. And ever since RERA was introduced, I know in the initial few years, there were some concerns. I have received your delegations. We have tried to address some of the issues. On some of the issues, there was a difference of opinion. I don't know finally what happened about that money being parked in the escrow account. It still is. Money being parked in the escrow account so that construction doesn't get stopped halfway through. And when I go to my own constituency of North Mumbai, I can see so many projects half done, half finished. But most of them, when I find out, they are all pre-RERA projects. So in a way, you will appreciate that a lot of the disciplines that were brought in were good for honest and sincere developers like all of you. That's right, it's brought transparency, it's brought certainty, it's brought... I myself, incidentally, have suffered, and I think many of the friends on the stage know it, and some I can see in the front row also know it, but the person who made me suffer, I don't think is in this room. But when I bought my home in 2010, and it was ready, fully furnished by 12, end of 12, I could not enter into my own home for nearly 5 years or 6 years after that, because it didn't have an occupation certificate. That was the level of uncertainty that buyers used to face. And I'm delighted that RERA has changed all of this. We now have a much more honest regime. And thankfully, with a lot of the unscrupulous developers, I believe, out of the system, now bankers are also getting more confidence in financing the sector. If at all you feel that there needs to be a bigger trust, government will be happy to engage with CREDAI, with your various associations. Is it a national problem? Is it a problem because of certain areas not understanding? If there are any RBI problems, I am happy to discuss it and take it up both with RBI and the Finance Ministry. Because in some sense, as industry minister, you belong to me also. And in any case, मोदी जी तो कभी साइलोज में देखते ही नहीं है, वो डिपार्टमेंट्स को अलग अलग कभी करते ही नहीं है। उनकी तो इच्छा है कि जिस प्रकार से भारत को वो एक दृष्टिकोण से देखते हैं, वन नेशन, उसी प्रकार से इंडस्ट्री भी पूरी एकजुट हो, वन बॉडी और वन इंडस्ट्री, उसी प्रकार से सरकार भी whole of the government approach says one government, center, state, panchayats, corporations. We believe that if all of us work with a collective mission, a sense of purpose, we can truly do wonders for India, working together with all of you in a public, private, government partnership. We can transform India. We can reform processes so that the nation becomes a developed nation, Vikasit Bharat, by 2047. And I'm sure each one of you in this room agrees with me that that vision has truly empowered 140 crore Indians, has given all of us the self-confidence required to achieve big targets, big audacious goals in the years to come. And I have full confidence that your sector will not be found wanting when it comes to the collective effort of every citizen of India to contribute to a prosperous India, to make it inclusive, where every child born in the country gets the benefit of prosperity, and of course, as Mamanji mentioned, to focus on sustainability, because if we don't do that, in any case, we are looking at disaster in the years to come. Friends, I heard very carefully all the numbers that Mamanji was giving. He spoke about 70 million people being employed in your sector. I'm grateful to all of you for making the lives of 70 million families better, giving them a chance to go up the ladder. But may I make a small request of the sector, and I urge you and I seek your indulgence to kindly think about this in very serious terms, and if possible, come out with a resolution on the 25th of November when we meet to celebrate 25 years after extensive stakeholder discussions with your, I believe, 20,000 or 25,000, 14,000 members. If everybody can collectively agree, then can we ensure a guaranteed ESIC and Provident Fund registration of all these 70 million workmen and women, so that there are 2 or 3 very major impacts this will have. A, it will give credit and credibility to your industry. People will start appreciating that you are providing jobs to 70 million, and that number will grow in the years to come. B, you will truly get credit for the good work you are doing. Very often that credit is found wanting because many policymakers, possibly bankers, possibly regulators, still look upon your industry with the prism of the past. And I think it's time we change that. With 70 million people registered under ESIC and PM, you will truly be able to showcase your contribution to the national economy and to the well-being of India. That will have another very important impact for you personally. For every workman that will work with you, you will not only be providing 100% health coverage for them and their entire family, you will be providing them possibility of social security. You will be ensuring that facilities will be available across the country with children of these workmen and women getting creche or other requirements that are a part of the law. And most importantly, with Provident Fund contribution, you will be providing for their old age care, for their pension, for their social security post-retirement. Imagine if each one of you, some of you may be having maybe 50,000 workers, somebody will have 5 lakh workers, Baba Nirani may have a little more, Irfan Bhai may have 1 million workers. मैं contextually तो गलत नहीं बोल रहा हूँ ना जैसे मित्रों सोचो रात की नींद कैसे आएगी जब आप सोचोगे रात को सोते वक्त कि आपकी वजह से 10 लाख परिवार यानी 40-50 लाख लोगों का जीवन आपने सुधारा है। कल्पना करिए रात को कितनी सुकून, कितनी चैन की नींद आएगी आप में से एक एक व्यक्ति को और आपके परिवारों को। कितना अच्छा लगेगा स्वयं को, आपको स्वयं को कितना अच्छा लगेगा कि आपकी वजह से इतने सारे घर बस रहे, इतने सारे जीवन सुधर रहे। और अगर आपने ये 2 स्टेप्स लिए तो मेरा विश्वास है कि उनका काम, उनकी एफिशिएंसी, उनका आउटपुट, आपके वर्कर्स का आउटपुट भी सुधरेगा, क्योंकि उनको भी दिखेगा कि यू केयर फॉर देम, यू केयर फॉर देयर फैमिलीज। and with greater productivity, greater efficiency, the natural outcome is always better quality. Jaksebhai has been talking to me about better quality standards in construction. I hope the Quality Council will work with BIS and come up with more modern standards of construction. आप यहाँ पे मुझे बता तो रहे हो कि बिल्डिंग के ऊपर रोड है 2 फुट के गैप पे, और ये भी आपने मुझे सुना दिया कि रेलवे 30 मीटर पे रिस्ट्रिक्शन रखता है, सीओडी की भी समस्या, ये सब चीजें मेरे एरिया में सबसे ज्यादा है। लेकिन जब यहाँ पे आते हैं और यहाँ की कंस्ट्रक्शन देखते हैं, उसकी क्वालिटी देखते हैं, सड़क का एस्फाल्टिंग देखते हैं, फिनिशिंग देखते हैं फ्लाईओवर के नीचे, तो तब ध्यान में आता है कि हम सब के भी काम में थोड़ा बहुत तो सुधार की आवश्यकता है। थोड़ा अपने अंतर्करण में देखेंगे, we introspect, we will all recognize that we also have to contribute a little more to the success of meeting the standards that people of India also today expect from all of us. Many of you may not be in creating infrastructure like roads and highways or flyovers and railway lines or railway stations. But I do think it's a culture of quality. The moment in the real estate sector, in construction, we accept this as a culture and we make up our mind that this is going to be the standard we will meet. खर्चा बहुत ज्यादा नहीं होगा, मुझे लगता है थोड़ी बेटर फिनिशिंग करने में छोटा मोटा खर्चा बढ़ेगा, आप उससे ज्यादा तो रेट बढ़ा देंगे, तो आपको तो फिर उसमें भी लाभ ही लाभ है। पर मुझे लगता है कि क्वालिटी के ऊपर भी अगर कोई सेशन है तो अच्छी बात है, नहीं है तो थोड़ा वर्किंग लंच डिनर करके एक सेशन क्वालिटी पे भी जरूर रखिएगा। आज सिडनी में जो देखे या जहां भी, एक आपने बात कही अबाउट इंपोर्टेड इक्विपमेंट, थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर रेजिंग दैट इक्विपमेंट, द इश्यू ऑफ दैट इक्विपमेंट, बट मुझे तो लगता है ड्यूटी और बढ़ाने की आवश्यकता है। और मित्रों, कल्पना करिए, एक तरफ आप मुझे कह रहे हैं कि दुनिया की सबसे ज्यादा अपॉर्चुनिटी कंस्ट्रक्शन की, ग्रोथ की भारत में है, एंड आई हैव हर्ड दिस दैट व्हाटएवर कंस्ट्रक्शन हैज बीन बिल्ट इन इंडिया सो फार, we will need twice that amount of construction in the next 30 years. Is that something that has been spoken about very often? शायद उससे ज्यादा ही। तो अगर इतने बड़े पैमाने पे आगे चल के आपके क्षेत्र में एक्सपेंशन होना है, ग्रोथ होनी है, तो क्या ये इक्विपमेंट अभी भी विदेश से आना चाहिए या हमें आत्मनिर्भर होकर भारत में बनाना चाहिए? और अगर इतनी ड्यूटीज हैं तो हो सकता है कि आप में से भी कोई व्यक्ति या आपके बच्चे, जैसे आपके कितने बच्चे हैं, तो उसमें से एक बच्चे को भी इंडस्ट्री लगाने में लगाइए। आप लोग भी देखिए, क्यों हमारे यहाँ पे सिर्फ ओटिस और मित्सुबिशी और थ्रिसेनक्रुप और आजकल तो कि जॉनसन ज्यादा दिखते हैं। बड़ा मुझे बड़ा अजीब और गरीब लगता है, जॉनसन किस देश से आता है? यानी चेन्नई के पहले ओरिजिनल, ओके, देन इट्स वेरी गुड। मुझे somebody told me it comes from a northern neighbor.
Homegrown.
Oh, thank God, it's homegrown.
John and Son.
Lovely, that's very good. But let's have some more homegrown brands of all these products, and it's eminently doable. आज भारत में टेक्नोलॉजी, कैपेबिलिटीज, मैन पावर, स्किल्स, टैलेंट, किसी की कमी नहीं है। पूरी दुनिया भारत की तरफ देख रही है, तो क्यों आपका कंस्ट्रक्शन इक्विपमेंट, आपके लाइटिंग इक्विपमेंट, आपके इलेक्ट्रॉनिक इक्विपमेंट, your multi-storied car parking, lifts, why should all of these not be made in India? And I'm not saying assembled, made in India. And I would urge you to come up with a list of products, potential market size. I will become your ambassador to talk to industry leaders, to CII, FICCI, to all of them to start promoting the manufacture of these products in India. No harm taking collaborations from abroad. No harm even getting some technologies from abroad. But instead of the duties, I think let's focus on making high quality equipment in India. If you can come to me with proposals where there's a 3-year, 4-year transition period during which the industry will be set up in India. And each one of you has enough friends in industry whom you can encourage to get into this line of business. Then I'm happy to reduce the duty rates for that transition period with a well-defined roadmap that, okay, for 3 years, during which period the industry will be self-sufficient in India, we can reduce the duties and then escalate the duties to higher levels. Let's discuss with that kind of a positive outlook. I have one suggestion which has been in my mind for a long time. I think no better opportunity than this. And I'd like to get a feedback on the 25th of November when I come. One big cause of pollution in the cities, and you spoke extensively about sustainability, green buildings, LEED certified buildings and all of that. One big problem in the cities is the cement concrete mixing that happens on site, because we still are using age-old technologies of construction. In a city like Mumbai with the sea right next door, but for construction, I think we would never have a problem on environment or on all the metrics of pollution that of late are showing very disturbing numbers even for Mumbai. I'm sure the same is the story in Bengaluru and Hyderabad. Delhi, of course, is a crazy affair with construction all over the place. Delhi, Gurugram, Noida, that whole NCR belt. My suspicion is that if we were to move to steel structures and use precast equipment, just like we see in Europe, in America, in Dubai, in Singapore, and possibly even in Australia, the cost of construction may not go up very significantly, but the speed of construction will certainly go up. You may actually be able to complete the project much faster, reduce your interest costs, satisfy your customer faster, and with the money rotation being faster, you can do much more business. For every dollar, rupee that you are spending investing in your business, you can probably expand much more in terms of output. Can we look at least to begin with the 8 or 10 big cities in India, adopting, and I would ideally like it to be a suo moto industry adoption rather than a government forced adoption. Because जो भी गवर्नमेंट करेगी फिर आप उस पर विरोध करोगे और आंदोलन शुरू करोगे। पर अगर आपने शुरू किया, आपने स्वयं से इसको नॉर्म बनाया, तो आप कल्पना करिए कि आपके सेक्टर को कितना गुडविल मिलेगा, दुनिया में कितनी तारीफ होगी आप सबकी कि आपने स्वयं अच्छी प्रैक्टिसेस, गुड मैन्युफैक्चरिंग, गुड कंस्ट्रक्शन प्रैक्टिसेस को प्रोत्साहन दिया है. I would urge you to look at an industry-sponsored, industry-encouraged self-regulation to promote better and modern quality construction, form of construction. Finally, before I conclude, I would like to offer my services to your industry to see how we can reduce the entire approval process, planning approval process, building approval process, the number of approvals that you require, the time taken for getting the permissions, both at the pre-construction stage, architectural stage, structural stage, building stage, and the completion stage. If industry is forthcoming to commit yourself to honesty and transparency, if I can get a pledge from all your 14,000 members, what Prime Minister Modi desires very, very earnestly, ना खाऊंगा ना खाने दूंगा, अगर आप सब इस बात के लिए संकल्प लेने को तैयार हैं, और वो तभी हो सकता है जब शॉर्टकट आप भी कोशिश नहीं करेंगे, वो तभी हो सकता है जब आप भी ये नहीं चाहोगे कि बिल्डिंग प्लानिंग परमिशन तो मुझे इतना अलाउड है, लेकिन यार किसको पटा के थोड़ा सा एक्सेस में खींच लूं आगे। अगर आपकी इंडस्ट्री पूरी तरीके से विद इन द बिल्डिंग बायलॉज, विद इन द रेगुलेशन काम करने के लिए तैयार है, तो मैं आपके साथ जुड़ के, पर्टिकुलरली शुरू में तो ये बड़े शहरों की प्रॉब्लम है, मुंबई दिल्ली वगैरह की, मैं आपके साथ जुड़ के काम करने के लिए तैयार हूं कि हम एक एक के साथ जाके बात करेंगे और स्टेट और कॉरपोरेशंस के इकोसिस्टम से भी चर्चा करेंगे, कैसे इस पूरे सिस्टम को क्लीन अप किया जाए, कैसे एनवायरमेंट की अप्रूवल हो या बिल्डिंग अप्रूवल्स हो, कैसे इन सबको शुद्ध किया जाए। मैंने अपने क्षेत्र में नॉर्थ मुंबई में सभी अधिकारियों को ऑलरेडी कहा है कि कुछ भी हो जाए, मुझे एक भी कंप्लेन नहीं आनी चाहिए कि किसी को आपने हैरेस किया, किसी को परेशान किया। आई हैव ऑलरेडी इंस्ट्रक्टेड ऑल माय ऑफिशियल्स in North Mumbai, and Vaman, you can take advantage of that if you are planning any new construction there. But I would urge all of you and any of you who's working in my area, if even a single official troubles you, please come straight up to me, because I want to make a model of that area and try to make sure that it becomes totally corruption free. And if all of you are willing, collectively we can do it in all of India. मुझे लगता है अगर आप प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी को कुछ तोहफा देना चाहते हो, तो इससे अच्छा तोहफा कुछ नहीं हो सकता, इससे अच्छा मोमेंटो कुछ नहीं हो सकता। और अगर आपके क्षेत्र में ये बदलाव आ जाता है, तो मुझे लगता है पूरे देश में बदलाव लाना संभव हो जाएगा, पूरे देश का भविष्य उज्जवल हो जाएगा। So let's go for it together, friends. Let's work to a plan. Let's work with that sincerity of purpose that I see in your leadership and I see in all the friends assembled here today. My compliments to each and every one of you. And let's go for a strong industry, a sustainable industry, a very, very vibrant future of the real estate sector. Something which will not only make every Indian proud, but will make the world look up to our real estate sector, to look up to CREDAI, to NATCON, to all the various associations as a model association and as a model sector which is transforming the lives of millions of Indians and which at some stage will become an instrument of exports for India, and you will all be having international operations and coming to Sydney and Singapore to build new structures, new buildings, as those countries will need a reconstruction plan in the years to come. New York, London, already are cities which are now due for a reconstruction stage. Almost all of America, which was developed after the Great Depression in the 30s and 40s, now is up for reconstruction. अब भारत के रियल एस्टेट सेक्टर सिर्फ एनुअल कॉन्फ्रेंस करने विदेश नहीं जाएगा, अब भारत का रियल एस्टेट सेक्टर दुनिया में जाके अपना परचम फैलाएगा। ये मेरी आप सबको शुभकामनाएं। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।